Welcome back to the Crypto 618 channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a scam coin. But before we get started, if you'd like to see more of these videos, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. Let's get started. So normally I will talk about other coins, but this one I'm going to be talking about a specific scam coin. Now the project itself is not a scam. The one I reference is ESCO coin. It's actually a legit project, and it's on the Ethereum blockchain. This one I'm talking about today is on the Binance Smart Chain, and it is a scam. You can see here it's done a nice little chart. A lot of people have bought into it, and then all of a sudden they've done a rug pull, and all the liquidity is gone. So they've taken everyone's money with them. And I want to show you some of the signs that maybe this. So it doesn't happen to you. So the first thing that happens is, let's say you go through and you do your own research on it. You say, okay, looks good. The chart looks good. We got volume, 670,000. It has gone up. That's good. It's got lots of transactions, lots of holders. We also checked that it was locked. When we went to check out the lock, it was actually locked in pink sale. So that was pretty good. Then we had a look down here, and there's a bit early because it's only sort of less than 24 hours, so we didn't have all the information there. But a lot of those key points were good. We had a look at the tokenomics, and at that stage, it was fine as well. Then we had a look at, say, the holders. We would go over to the contract, and we'd have a look at the holders themselves to see how many there was. Now at this stage, the pancake swap, this particular one here, it had all the, I think this one had all of it, and these other ones were not in existence at the time. So you can see there's a lot of coins. So notice is how there's actually 1, 2, 3. So that's like a billion. This quantity is like in the trillions. But if we go back here, you'll see that the supply is basically only 1 billion, whereas the amount of coins here by this wallet is actually more than 1 billion. Okay, and this is what's happened afterwards. But beforehand, this looked legit. Most of the holders here had very small amounts of actual holdings, so everything look good. Also had a quick look at the contract, and it looked like most of the contracts that I've seen, it's got most of the same sections. Come down here, and it's got all the standard transfer. It did have mint and burn in there, but then I went on to read contract. Most of that looked the same, and also under write contract, there was no minting functions or anything like that. So I thought, that seems okay. So why not get into this coin here? So I took a position, just a small position in this coin, and then of course it went up, was doing well, and then I went to sell it to take profit, and I had this error message, which I'll put on the screen for you. So there's lots of reasons for that error message, but if it's a scam coin, that could be one of the reasons. So once I saw that, I did some more investigation, and I won't get too in depth with the code, but I'll explain what to look for. So everything, there's two things. One, because this is a legit project, it means that there's a lot of people out there searching for that project, which is the ESCO coin. And sometimes you can get confused which network it's on, and especially if everything else looks very similar. So then what happens is, if we have a quick look at the tracker over here, where the actual problem was this little section here. So most of this was the same, but this parcel with this address, so this is not normal. And what happened is in the actual code itself, down the, I think it was quite the way down. We'll just jump into it again. So what it's doing, this is actually acting as a proxy contract. So a proxy contract, you'll see them, it actually says like a proxy. It'll have all this strange code in here, and what it's actually doing is, the code can be modified in the future, can be upgraded and changed, and they can change anything about the coin and rug on you afterwards. But this didn't seem to have that. But what it did have is, if you have a quick look here, you can see where it talks about the token, but it also mentions this here, PARCL underscore. I mean, this could be any particular name. And it talks about the total supply and parcel being max supply here. And if we have a look up, there's also a section to do with the transfer. Let's just scroll down a bit more. Transfer from. Yeah, so all this looks good here, but there is this little section which I will find. Transfer. Yeah, so this is the code, this transfer code right here, which is the problem. So where the problem is it has balances from, and it references this parcel here, and then it says this function from here in here. And what it's actually doing is this parcel is referencing another contract. So what it's saying is, when you transfer the balances, transfer it from this particular contract to this other contract, not this one, and that way it actually can only go one way. So what allows you to buy, but it doesn't allow you to sell. Now I believe there was sales on the chart. That was the other thing to look for. So if we have a look, another important thing is when sells happen, that they aren't bots. So this sell here, which was the actual event with all these coins here, you can see how there's no bots here. If we go down a bit further, some of the sales are the bots, but there is other instances where there have actually been sales where they were not bots. So if we scroll down a bit further and keep looking, you'll see that there'll be some more. So what happens is, normally you'll get all the bots for buys and sells and it's a scam coin, but there was actually sales that were taking place that were not identified as a bot at the time. And this made me think that okay, so obviously people are actually selling out. So for example, this one here, where it wasn't a bot and they made a successful sale. But I suspect that in the code of the other contract, it allowed for these particular addresses to buy and sell the coin without any problems at all, whereas most other contracts, other addresses wouldn't be able to do it. So if you ever see anything like this transfer function, which is out of the ordinary in a contract, and it mentions, the main thing was this, where they mentioned this section here and references another contract. And if we actually click on this other contract and we look at the actual code, you can see how it's in bytecode, which means you can't read it. So in the other code, it was Solidity, you could read, but they've actually protected it so that you cannot read it easily. Okay, so if you ever see that, most likely that is a proxy contract, and this is what will happen. So if you buy, you will not be able to sell. I'm sorry to tell you. This is just another thing to be aware of. So it's very important to try and find the real website, the real Telegram, and get the contracts, and then compare them to the contract address here. So if I was in the real one, so let's say you go on to Twitter and we have a look for ESCO, and this can be also dangerous as well, because the first one we click on may not be the actual genuine one. So that's always difficult to know. You just have to work it out. So if we check out the website, okay, they might mention the contract here. So as you can see, it says Uniswap. If we click on this right now, it says get some ETH. So we can see that it's on the Ethereum network. And hopefully they'll show the contract somewhere down here. They've actually got the swap here on their actual website. And they might mention the contract somewhere down here at all. Let's look at tokenomics. No. Always like projects that have the contract available, so you can always reference it rather than trying to find it. So let's just go back to Twitter and see if they mention it in there. Let's scroll down and keep going. So you can see that this is unwrapped ETH on that one. It's not on the Binance, but they're not. It doesn't look like they actually got their contract listed on Twitter. So we'll just keep going. They do say CoinMarketCap. Let's have a quick look at CoinMarketCap and see if the contract's listed there. Okay, so then we have a quick look for the contract. It's on the Ethereum, and as you can see, it's 95E6. And if we go back to the other one, it's a completely different contract, and it's on the Binance Smart Chain. So these are sort of things you've got to look at. You know, after seeing so many coins, sometimes you forget one step or make a mistake, and that's what I've done here with this particular coin. But I just wanted to let you know that they are getting pretty sophisticated with how they scam you. So just another thing to add to your list, and in fact I'll be creating a checklist so that every time you buy a coin, you want to go through the process to make sure it's not going to scam you. And I'm going to I'll organize that today, start working on that today, and let you know about that, and allow you to have access to that, because I think that's important to go through these steps so you don't get scammed when you interact with these contracts. Because you would think that you could go to here and you could check out a coin and you could press trade and you could trade this coin and swap it back, but that's not the case at all. You can definitely swap into it, but you can't swap back. And what's even more annoying is that places like this, and nothing against DexView, because I'm sure it happens on all of them, they don't have the ability or haven't put the ability in there to detect these problems in the code, which honestly is really frustrating, because they have the ability to create the transfers backwards and forwards, but no one has, that I've seen, has put the next step, which is, how about you read the contract before swapping it and actually disclose that this contract you won't be able to swap back, or if there's any a normal thing. And I realize that they always have these little disclaimers in there, but they practically have the disclaimer for every one of them. But I think that it would be much smarter if someone came up with a capability of reading the contract and seeing whether it was a standard contract or not, and whether the actual swap could be performed. Because if the swap can't be performed both ways, then obviously it's a scam contract. So, and I would like to see that in these interfaces for swapping. But, time will tell whether that actually happens or not. But whoever does that, people will feel much more safer about interacting with the coins. So I just thought I'd share that with you today. If you have any thoughts about that, pop it in the comments below, or jump over Twitter and we can talk about it there. But yeah, I just thought I'd let you know, because I don't want people getting scammed. So definitely this project is legit and is doing well, but don't fall for some of the other scam coins that are getting harder and harder to detect. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks guys. Bye.